Hi, boys and girls. It's math time. And you remember this important word that we talked about yesterday? Fraction. Remember, T-I-O-N says shun. Fraction. And do you remember what I told you that it means? When you have a fraction of something, you have part of it. Fraction means part of a whole. So if you have part of a chocolate bar in your lunch pail, then you have a fraction of it. Or if you've only built half of your Lego tower, then you've built a fraction of it. So fraction is a part of a whole. How about these posters? Do you remember looking at these yesterday? We learned about the number 1 also means whole. Okay? This whole circle is colored. Same with this square. The whole thing is colored. And same with this rectangle. And whole can also mean the number 1. Okay, I ate a whole pizza. I ate 1 pizza. I ate a whole cookie. I ate 1 cookie. Okay, how about this fraction? Do you remember this? Okay, first you have to look at how many parts each shape has been divided into. And we can see that the circle and the square and the rectangle have each been divided into 2 equal parts. That's why there's a 2 on the bottom of this fraction. And then the number on the top, the 1, talks about how many of those equal parts is colored in each shape. So in the circle, it's 1 out of the 2. So half of the circle is colored. In the square, it's 1 part out of the 2 parts that the shape has been divided into. So half of the square is colored. Same with the rectangle. We see 2 equal parts, but only 1 of them is colored. So each of these fractions shows a half. Okay, so when you see this number, how do you say it? You can say 1/2 or half of. Okay, be careful not to say 1/2. 1/2. Okay, and half is a tricky word because look, there's a silent L in there. Okay, and then we talked about this fraction. Uh-oh, I think a sneeze is coming. Excuse me. Sorry about that, boys and girls. Whew. Okay, so first of all, in order to figure out what fraction of each shape is colored, you have to count how many parts that the shape has been divided into. So you can see the circle has been divided into 4 parts, and so has the square, and so has the rectangle. So that's why there's a 4 on the bottom of the fraction. That tells them how many equal parts that the shape has been divided into. What does the 1 stand for? The 1 stands for how many of those equal parts has been colored. 1 out of the 4 means 1/4 of the circle is colored. 1 out of the 4 for the square means 1/4 of the square has been colored. And then 1 out of the 4 on the rectangle has been colored. So 1/4 of the rectangle is colored. 1/4 is 1/4 or quarter of. Remember we talked about how it takes 4 quarters to make $1? And when you divide things into 4 parts, you can call them fourths or you can call them quarters. So let's say this was a pizza and 4 people were sharing it. Each of us, or each of those people, would get 1 piece. Okay? So let's say it's my family. So Mr. Card would get 1/4 or 1/4. I would get 1/4 or 1/4. It means the same thing. Adam would get 1/4 or 1/4. And Sarah would get 1/4 or 1/4. So 4 of us could share the pizza and each of us would get 1 of the pieces. So we're each eating 1/4 of the pizza. Okay? So I just want to, I made these posters up too so that we could quickly review what these words look like and what they mean. If you see or hear fourth, fourths, quarter, or quarters, that means there's always going to be a 4 on the bottom of the fraction. Whoops, I'm not doing a good job of circling that. The top number talks about how many pieces of those 4 parts has been colored or eaten. Okay, and when you see this fraction, you say 1/4 or 1/4. Okay, the other fraction we looked at was 1/2. Okay, which looks like that. We already saw that. Half with a silent L. If it's more than 1, look how you spell it. You change the F to a V, and then you add ES. So you say halves. Isn't that a strange word? Half or halves means the shape or object, whatever you're talking about, has been divided into 2 parts. The top number talks about how many of those parts are colored or eaten or what have you. Okay? Now, when you go to do your seat work today, the page looks like this. And you're sorting again, exactly what you did yesterday. But yesterday, you sorted into shapes that were divided equally and shapes that were not divided equally. Today, you're looking at each shape, so you're going to cut them out again. See that? Cut them all out, boys and girls, and then sort them. So if you see that the shape is divided into 2 equal parts or halves, that means it's going to go on this side or in this group. And if you see that the shape or the object has been divided into quarters or 4 equal parts, then you're going to put it on this side of the box. Okay? And you'll notice that for each shape, 1 out of the 2 parts or 1 out of the 4 parts has been colored. So each shape is either talking about 1/2, showing 1/2 being colored, or 1/4. Okay? But all you're looking for, boys and girls, is how many parts is the shape divided into, halves or quarters. Okay, that's your job for today. Have fun.